welcome back to this week's episode where I'm happy to have Claudia back in the studio. And today we will hear a little about her own personal experiences working with some of the tool and the experiences we offer in the Satisfaction Selling Toolbox. So lean back, enjoy, and you will be getting some really interesting inspiration here in this week's episode. Claudia, very often we talk about time sliding and the power of being in the present, maybe even going to the future. Today, I would like to just bring you back into the deep past.
The deep past, okay.
Yeah, because again, I think we met almost more than 20 years ago.
That's right.
On a trip to Gothenburg in Sweden, where we went to see Richard Bandler. And as I recall it, you were already a seasoned NLP practitioner in those days. Uh-huh. And then you were introduced to this whole approach about working from what's working instead of the problems. So what was really the experience that made you change from working with the traditional approach to this new approach?
Two things actually in rapid succession. And the first one was an internal thing. And this, when I got this different, because I remember you made me take the entire NLP practitioner education from the start again. So yes. I had to redo everything, but it felt so different coming from the more appreciative, the open state. So the new NLP, so it was completely different. And it also all of a sudden became not like therapy, but business stuff. And that meant that it was really easy for me. First, I had internalized it. I just totally bought into. I don't have a great kind of patience with problems. Life is too short for a lot of problems. So when I understood that, I could actually go to where the problem was not. I took that and I ran. And in my department, sadly, I'd just gotten a really miserable satisfaction survey. Of the results were just miserable because the department was miserable. A long story behind that, but I decided instead of delving into all these, because there was a lot of problems apparently, a lot of red numbers, I decided to get my department together and then ask, okay, not what's the plan going from here? How do we do this? What are the most important problems to solve? I said, okay, I'm a director for a department here that is clearly not happy or satisfied with how things are working. And of course, I can't be that kind of director. So if we now imagine that 1 year from now, when we get the new measurement, we are at least 80% satisfaction, and we are best in class or close to best in class. What does that look like? What does that actually mean for you? If we were just like that, what would it take for you today? 80%, 90%. And of course, there was a little bit of a silence in the room, but we got the conversation. And that meant that instead of maybe 20 problems to solve, we had 3 things we wanted to focus on. And of course, more notably, the energy around it was totally different. So there was like an enthusiasm and there was engagement. And it was really easy to find ownership because I couldn't do this alone just by bringing, vino on the Friday. But then it became easy. And we did hit the 80% the next time we measured that. And I thought, oh my God, this is just such a different way of operating.
So that was for you really the moment that in a way made you shift.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And from that shift, in a funny way, it is just not possible to go back into problems and misery in that way. The problems are still there, but they look different. They feel different. And there are fewer of them because a lot of them actually are not that important. Which is, that I love that approach. So yeah, that changed how I do business.
Thank you. So thank you for sharing that moment where you really experienced the difference of starting from problem and instead working from the desired state. In those days, you were heading a department, you were a director in a big international Danish company. What was it that made you decide to leave that secure career business and then stepping out, becoming an associate partner and a trainer full time?
It was a very vivid decision moment for me. Again, what actually made me do it, I'm not quite sure, but all of a sudden I had this clarity moment where I knew that I had already quit my job. I just hadn't done it yet. Which was an exciting thought, especially as I started rationalizing, but it didn't seem like a smart idea at the time. But when I now look back at it and analyze a bit what was going on, it was, I think, as simple as I didn't feel a complete inner alignment with what I wanted to do, what I thought my talents and skills were, maybe also a bit of the values of the company and my own values. So there was that limitation. You say there was I felt limited, and at the same time I'd also gotten a sense of what's possible. And I think when those two collapsed, I understood that there are different ways of working with leadership.
Yeah.
And so the short version of a quite long story would be that those two things came together for me. And as the decision had already made itself in my system, it was actually really easy to go and execute on it. Yes. So it was just something that I had already done, but now it had to be done.
Yeah.
So
would you say that in your mind you already could see your future, or was it a blur?
I could more sense it.
Yeah.
And that exact moment of decision making that happened without my conscious awareness, there was just a deep feeling of meaningfulness, of gratitude, even for having made the right decision, and excitement about what was possible for me. So I had a sense that something was waiting for me, and I also understood it was in the leadership space somehow, but specifically what that would look like, that was not clear for me. So it's a bit of a leap of faith as well. Yeah.
So when you look back, and I know here from the future looking back, you can see things you couldn't see from the past. Absolutely, looking into the future. What would you say was the biggest catalyst for helping you making that decision?
It was this what we call it a tool in Acuity world, but over those years that I've been training with Acuity world and learning these things, my sense of self deepened. So I had quite easy access to me when I just felt good about things and felt, you could say, at my best. So when I was in perfect alignment with myself. And from that clarity internally, things, of course, started looking differently to me on the outside. So things that I had before considered to be markers of success didn't anymore. Things that seemed meaningful to me, like winning a market share battle in some category somewhere on the globe, didn't seem that important any longer. And all the things that I felt I didn't really have the time to do, or I didn't have the support or the KPIs to measure whether I did it well or not. So it was simply not a focus area. And so I also saw that what I was doing and the way I was doing and the context, especially in which I was doing it, didn't allow for me to step into that. So
I think the reason why I asked you this is for you out there to see the power of actually running a process where you help a person come up with a decision that even 20 years later seems to be the right one.
Yes.
Because that's actually our ambition when we teach people to do the satisfaction selling method, is to be able to do that with their clients. Because again, we believe that if you can help a client make a decision that's so high in quality compared to your own decision about your own life, I think you end up having customers that perceive really high value from interacting with you. Because I think in this world today where we have all this going on, it's chaotic, it's unpredictable, and how can I know what's right or wrong? And I think often the reason is that people are being basically dragged into the red, into the negative, where they cannot really think. But if you can help people move to this sense of clarity with themselves, it's easy for them to see the future. And when they can see the future, it's like the decision have already been made before they do it. I think that's actually the core of satisfaction selling, helping customer make high quality decisions about what to do next. And I think if you can do that as a salesperson, what's not to like?
Absolutely.
If you become the client's decision consultant.
Yes.
What do you think about that idea?
I love that idea. And it really reminds me of the importance of in a way, confidence. Let me use that word for it. We see often you say with everything going on around us. I think it came home to me the first time during COVID, actually, where we were really fast, with this international client to move into the virtual space and do a lot of the things online with them. And one of the ideas was, of course, that they go and do that themselves with their customers. Which, especially in some markets and in some segments, they were not willing to do. And we had a German sales director who said, well, our customers are just not doing that with us. They do not want to go online for a sales call or for a conversation even. We don't do that. And with time, as he got more confident, because we have this toolbox and we start from confidence and funnily, his customers also started to be okay with having those conversations online, which meant, of course, that they had a completely different possibility span of operating during a time like COVID. And we're seeing the same thing, I believe, now with AI. So technology has a way of freaking us out because we don't understand technology. It's way too complex, and it becomes even more so. So even if you know your product, you know your customers, you know everything that used to be enough for you to have confidence in a sales meeting, not you, but in this case, the sales associate or key account manager. So how do you stay confident when you're bringing new software solutions embedded in your product to a client? When you come up with AI components to what used to be just, let's say, medical equipment. And I find at least the urge we have for knowledge and for feeling safe in our knowledge totally gets in the way here. Because we're never going to understand enough to feel totally confident.
Instead of just going out and play with it.
Yes. And so it occurred to me that confidence back in COVID, that this director, he could choose confidence for himself before even thinking about technology and how to do it and how much do I know. And I think that is such a powerful concept to be able to teach and learn, and also for a sales rep to teach his customer, because the smarter decision your customer's customer is going to make, the smarter the whole chain will be. The more value you create throughout the chain, the more satisfaction throughout the chain. And that's ultimately, I think, healthy business. So it's in a way, super simple, small thing, but it just infuses everything. Also in the time of AI. So
and beyond.
And beyond. Yes.
So again here, today we have heard snippets of your personal history, some of the decisions you have made, how you actually did it, and the fact that you're actually still happy about them 20 years later. And again here, I hope that at least you have got some inspiration that this is possible. And I'm just asking you out there, how would it be for you if you could meet up with one of your clients 20 years from now and having a dialogue like this, having them looking back, all the way back to beginning of 2026 and say, wow, that was actually a meeting where I came to the clarity, where I made a decision that transformed my life and my business. Because this is what we want to teach you.